Hello and welcome back. I'm so glad you're here with me today. In this video, we're going to practice English through a powerful method called shadowing, where you listen to me, then repeat after me, copying my tone, speed, and pronunciation. It's one of the most effective ways to build confidence and speak English naturally, and we'll do it through storytelling. Today's story is called The Day I Got Lost and Found Something Amazing. It's a true personal journey about getting lost in a forest, feeling confused and uncertain, and then discovering something beautiful, unexpected, and unforgettable. You'll hear natural, clear English. You'll practice full, real-life sentences. And as you shadow my voice, you'll feel your speaking skills grow stronger and more fluent. Before we begin, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and tap the bell icon so you never miss a new episode. Now, take a deep breath, get comfortable, and let's begin the story together. A few years ago, I decided to visit the mountains for a short getaway. I had been working nonstop for weeks, and my mind felt heavy and crowded. The city was loud, fast, and always pulling me in different directions. I needed space. I needed silence. So I packed my bag and left the noise behind. My destination was a quiet mountain town, surrounded by forests, with narrow trails and fresh air. There were no cars honking, no long emails, just nature. Before the trip, I felt tired, but hopeful. Tired from the routine, but excited for something peaceful. As the car climbed higher into the hills, I felt my stress slowly drift away. It was the beginning of something quiet, something just for me. That morning was beautiful. The sun was rising slowly over the hills. Golden light touched the tops of the trees. The air was fresh and cool on my skin. I could hear birds singing softly in the distance. Everything felt peaceful, quiet, calm, and gentle. I stood outside the cabin and stretched my arms. I took a long, deep breath. The world felt still, like it was waiting for something to begin. I went inside and packed my small backpack. I took a full bottle of water. I added a simple sandwich I made the night before. I packed my small notebook and a pen. I also brought a light jacket, just in case it got cold. The last thing I packed was a hand-drawn map of the hiking trail. I looked at the map again. My goal was to walk through the forest and reach a quiet lake. The lake was hidden deep in the hills. I had heard it was peaceful, quiet, and not many people went there. I didn't want anything fast or busy. I just wanted to walk slowly, breathe deeply, and listen to nature. I wanted to enjoy the silence and feel free. That was my plan. And that was more than enough. As I stepped onto the trail, everything felt easy and inviting. The path beneath my feet was smooth and soft, covered in dry leaves. The gentle crunch of every step made a calming rhythm. It was like the forest was welcoming me in. The air was cool but not cold, fresh, like it had just rained the night before. Tall trees stood on either side, reaching toward the sky like quiet guardians. Sunlight filtered through the branches, painting golden patterns on the ground. I could hear birds singing from every direction. Some chirped gently, while others called in short melodies. I smiled without even realizing it. The forest was alive, but peaceful. I saw small butterflies floating near wildflowers. Every now and then, a squirrel would dart across the trail and disappear into the bushes. I walked slowly. There was no rush, no pressure. just step by step, breath by breath. In that moment, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time, pure joy. I felt peaceful, light, and full of curiosity. Where would this trail take me? What would I find at the end? I didn't know, but I was excited to find out. After walking for nearly an hour, the trail started to feel different. The tall trees were closer together now. The sunlight barely touched the ground. I kept walking until I reached a strange spot, a fork in the trail where the path split in two different directions. One trail was wide, smooth, and well-trodden. The other was narrow, covered in dry leaves, and looked a little wild. There were no signs, no arrows, no markers, just silence, trees, and two very different paths ahead of me. I paused for a moment. I took out the map from my backpack, but it wasn't much help. The paths on the map weren't clear. Maybe the map was old, or maybe this part of the trail wasn't marked at all. I looked at both paths again. The one on the left seemed safe and familiar, but the one on the right, it felt mysterious, untouched, hidden, like a secret place waiting to be discovered. I don't know why, but something pulled me toward the right side. It wasn't a smart decision. It wasn't even a planned one. But in that moment, I just followed my instinct. As I stepped onto the narrow path, I felt a mix of emotions: excitement, curiosity, and a little bit of nervousness. It felt like the kind of moment where anything could happen. A quiet turn in the forest, one that changed everything. At first, everything seemed fine. I kept walking along the narrow path, listening to the wind and my footsteps. But slowly, the trail became less clear. The leaves on the ground were thick, and the path started to fade. There were no signs, no footprints, no sound of water or birds, just trees, quiet, tall, and endless. I stopped walking. I looked around. Nothing looked familiar. The trail was gone. Suddenly, a wave of confusion hit me. Had I taken a wrong turn? Did I miss something? Then, the feeling of being lost slowly crept in. My stomach dropped. I felt a mix of fear, surprise, and disbelief. I pulled out my phone. No signal. I checked the map, but the map didn't show this part clearly. I took a deep breath and sat down on a flat rock beside the trail. I opened my backpack and took a few sips of water. I closed my eyes for a moment to calm down. Then I opened my notebook and began to write. I wrote something simple. I might be lost right now, but I'm not panicking. I'll find my way. Writing helped. It gave my mind something to focus on. Instead of worrying, I began to think. I told myself, "You're okay. You're not in danger. Just think clearly." In that quiet moment, surrounded by trees and stillness, I reminded myself, sometimes the only way forward is to pause. As I sat quietly on the rock, trying to stay calm and focus my thoughts, I heard a soft sound behind me. It wasn't loud, just a gentle rustle of leaves. At first, I thought it was the wind, but when I turned my head slowly, I saw something that completely surprised me. A small fox stood about 10 meters away. Its fur was a mix of orange, brown, and white. It had bright eyes, alert ears, and a tail that swayed gently from side to side. The fox didn't look afraid. It just stood there, watching me. For a moment, neither of us moved. It felt like time had paused. Then, very slowly, the fox began to walk, calm, quiet, and steady. It didn't run. It didn't hide. It simply walked forward like it had somewhere to be. I don't know why, but I stood up and followed it. Something inside me said, "Go." Not because it made sense, but because it felt right. I didn't chase the fox. I just followed its direction, step by step. Through trees, past bushes, over a fallen log. The fox didn't look back, but I kept going. My heart wasn't racing anymore. I felt curious, focused, and strangely peaceful. It felt like I wasn't lost anymore. I was part of something quiet, something unknown. That single moment, unexpected, gentle, and unexplainable, felt like a turning point. Like the forest itself had answered me. I kept walking in the direction the fox had taken, quietly, carefully, and a little more hopeful than before. The trees slowly began to thin, and I noticed the sunlight was getting stronger. Then, just ahead, something caught my eye. A wooden post, partially hidden behind some overgrown vines. I hurried toward it. There, faint but readable, was a trail marker, a small painted arrow pointing toward the lake. I paused and smiled. A real trail. A real sign. I wasn't lost anymore. At that moment, a wave of relief washed over me. My shoulders relaxed. I laughed softly to myself. I felt excited again, like I had just been given a second chance. And most of all, I felt grateful. Grateful for the quiet. Grateful for the strange little fox. Grateful for my decision to stay calm. And grateful for the path reappearing when I needed it most. After following the trail for about 20 more minutes, the trees slowly began to open. I could see light breaking through, more golden, more open. And then, just like that, I reached it. The lake. It was more beautiful than I imagined. Still, wide, and almost perfectly silent. The water didn't ripple. It looked like a mirror, reflecting the sky above. Clouds drifted slowly, and their soft shapes floated across the surface. A gentle breeze touched my face and moved the tops of the nearby grass. I stood there for a moment, completely still. No phone, no sound of people, just the quiet hum of nature. Then I found a flat rock near the edge of the water and sat down. I took off my backpack and pulled out my sandwich. I ate slowly, watching the sunlight dance across the water. Every bite felt peaceful. Every breath felt light. After eating, I opened my notebook and began to write. I wrote about the trees, the silence, the fox, how I got lost, and what I found. I wrote without thinking too much. Just feelings and gratitude. Grateful to be there. Grateful for getting lost. Because that peaceful lake, this whole experience, was something I never would have found if the path had gone perfectly. As I walked back from the lake that evening, something inside me felt different. I didn't just complete a hike. I had experienced something meaningful. I had gotten lost. But in that moment, I realized I also found something. I found patience. I found calmness in the middle of confusion. And I found a deeper trust in myself, that even when the path disappears, I can still move forward, step by step. Before this, I used to believe that getting lost was always bad, something to be avoided. But now, I see it differently. Sometimes, getting lost is a gentle push towards something new. It forces us to slow down, listen closely, and notice the things we'd usually ignore, like a breeze through the trees, or the quiet curiosity of a small fox. It reminded me that life doesn't always follow a perfect plan. and that's okay. Sometimes the most meaningful paths are the ones we don't expect to walk. So here's my message for you. If you ever feel lost, whether in the forest or in life, don't panic. Pause. Breathe. Trust the moment. You're stronger than you think. And often, what feels like a setback is just a different route to something beautiful. Keep exploring. Keep trusting yourself. And most importantly, don't be afraid to wander. You did it. You listened to a full, real story. You shadowed each sentence. You practiced your speaking and built your confidence. Now, it's your turn. Think of a time you felt lost or surprised or brave. Practice telling your own story in English. Even one small sentence is a powerful beginning. Come back to this video anytime. Repeat it again. Speak again. And every time, you'll grow stronger. Keep going. Keep speaking. And keep believing in yourself.